I call the meeting order. It's 7 o'clock. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag
Pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. LaBelle, I see you with us this evening. Oh, God. Those things just don't seem to go away, do they?
My wife went to Greece and brought COVID home.
All right. Did she bring any good cheese home or just COVID? Just COVID. Whatever. Well, you're here. Sam, you're here?
Here.
Good, good. Mr. Smith?
Present.
Okay, Mr. Barone? Here. And we have Ms. Wallace from the Township Board, and Gary DeMasters here from the Building Department.
Here.
We are missing Mr. Gear today. I haven't seen any communications on him, but we'll mark him as excused and move forward on that. The way we run our meeting is I will invite the petitioner to go over to the podium, speak to us of what your proposal is. Anyone that speaks on the issue will need to go to the podium, turn the mic on, sign in so we have a record on it. I will not entertain any comments from the floor if you're not over there. Once we bring it back from the floor, I'll cut it down for any more additional comments. The petitioner will get to speak more on it if there's any questions. We will go through the members here on the board one at a time to see if anybody has any questions in that period of time. If we have everything in front of us, we will move forward with the decision. We are short one member this evening. We need 4 positive or 4 negative votes to have anything pass. It's not just a simple majority. On that, our first issue, I believe, is ZBA petition 2023-03, and that is for anyone presenting, sir? Is it on?
My name's Kevin Browning. I live at 25692 Princess Drive with my wife Marilyn, who's present. This is Mark Malloy, our builder that's going to do the construction on the sunroom.
From All Seasons.
He's from All Seasons Sunroom.
Okay. And I think, is there still a sign-in sheet there?
Yeah.
Yeah, sign in too, please, on that. And either yourself or the builder, whoever wants to give us a thumbnail of why you're in front of us this evening, that would be awesome. Thank you.
We are proposing that we've got a 38 feet from our back door to the fence line. And when we first looked into buying the sunroom, I knew there was an easement of 10 feet, but I found out that there's a setback ruling that is, I think, 35 feet. We're applying for a variance of 11 feet so that we can build a 14 by 14 sunroom on the back of our existing home. And it's basically the same footprint as our existing deck on the property. Any other information for this? You just want the basic information,
Yeah,
correct?
basic, and then we'll have some questions if we get, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Barone, I know
Should I
you
stay
were
here?
calculating. Did you want to start us off with questioning?
I guess my main question is the mic. I usually have a big mouth, so. My main question is why the side isn't an option for you guys. I know there's electrical there, and I see there's a sump line, but that stuff's moved all the time. It'll fit there. I've kind of figured it out. At least the way I look at it, it will fit on the side. And just curious as to if that's a thought or not.
Yeah, it would be reduced also, but if you look at it, it's not aesthetically pleasing to our neighbors. If you put it on the side of the house, you can see it from the street. Our neighbors across the street can see it, and it would look right into our neighbors on the east side, right into their kitchen. And I've discussed some of this with our neighbors, and they don't like the idea of having it on the side of the house. Yeah. The other thing is that we have, like you said, we have to move the sump system, the electrical, the cable from the side. We would have to punch out a wall to have it on the side, and it's pretty expensive. I think it would, I'm not sure how much, but it was quite a bit more expensive. The neighbors that I've talked to, and I actually got their approval of the neighbor to the south, to the east and the west, that they thought it was a great idea where we had it, where we would plan to have it on in the same footprint as the existing deck. Like I said, the neighbor really didn't like the idea of it. It just sticks out like a sore thumb on the side.
So basically, if I'm understanding you correctly, the monetary value of moving all the utilities is an issue, but the major issue is how aesthetic it would be for the neighborhood, because you'd be the only one that would have the appendage out, and it would be falling back into the footprint of the deck.
Yeah,
Am
and
I
if
right on
you-
that percent?
Exactly, but if
Okay.
you look at the plot of the land, we're, on that side, it's pie-shaped. So the one corner of it would be 5 feet away from the fence, because that's the closest you can get. And then it actually widens out as you further you get. It just cuts off the backyard.
Okay.
It just, my wife hates that idea of putting it there. And like I said, we've got to punch through a brick wall to put a door wall in. And so that would give us 2 door walls, one to the back deck and one on the side.
Which side, which direction is that?
That's on the east side,
So
towards the neighbor
you
whose
turned around when you get driving through those
kitchen is right.
subdivisions.
I've got a picture,
I got pictures in front of
Okay.
me of everything. I see the plot plan, I just don't know. I forget when you drive in there, you make a right and a left, and I've been in that sub quite a
Okay.
few times, so. Okay, I don't have any more questions.
Thank you. Siki, please.
One of the questions I have is, what's the reasoning for 14 by 14 versus maybe 10 by 14 or 8 by 14?
It's more for access for my wife, because we have options of doing step downs to it, but the idea to do it would be to build a foundation so that it's a straight access out there. The 14 by 14 we chose because there's a large casement window that's as far over as we could go, and it fits in there nice on the 14. The 14 extension is pretty much what our deck is right now. So we would be basically the same footprint as the existing deck right now.
Okay, thank you.
I did have pictures. I don't know, did everyone see these? Everyone see these ready? Okay, so I make sure everyone see it. Ms. Fosberg, please? No questions? Okay. Mr. LaBelle? I got you right, didn't? No, I didn't. We talked about Greece, but that was, get me confused. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
So, on the side of the house that Mr. Barone proposed, the house that is next to you, would that be his backyard? That would be
Yeah, he's a corner house, so
he's
it
a
is
corner
his-
house. So it's not as if there's a house right next door, like on the other side of your home, there's a house right there, where your proposed sunroom would be up against his home. So there is a buffer in his backyard of 35 feet. I'm sure he has a setback as well.
I don't know if it's 30,
Well,
I should have measured it, but
I'm
it's,
guessing 35 feet, but there is
Yeah.
there is a setback there that he has as well. So,
I should have taken pictures of his house because he has a bay window there where his kitchen is, and then he has probably a 10 or 15 foot patio
Right.
there where he's got outdoor furniture and that, and I just can't imagine anyone would want people staring at them from there and vice versa. You know, it's a privacy issue, I think. And plus the people on the street are driving by and I'd like some privacy.
Yeah, I understand the people on the street driving by, but there's always landscaping that you can put in front of it so that so that people from the street can't see your sunroom. My stance is to vote no, simply because I really don't see any practical difficulty here. There isn't a stream running through your property, there isn't a lake, there isn't something that is prohibiting you from putting it on the side of the house. We have ordinances, and then also in your narrative, you had mentioned that you saw it elsewhere in your subdivision, that you saw it elsewhere. I don't look at that. I don't consider what has gone on in the past. Things have happened in the past that shouldn't happen in the past, and today is today, and our ordinance only allows, or has projected a 35-foot setback in your yard. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
I don't have any questions at this time.
We did have communications. Can you read that into the record, please?
Yeah. To read into the record, this is correspondence from an Audrey Clark. This email was sent in support of petition number 2023-03. My name is Audrey Clark, and my address is 25718 Princess Drive, Chesterfield, 48051. My next-door neighbors, the Brownings, at 25692 Princess Drive, are working with the Chesterfield Zoning Board of Appeals to gain approval to add a sunroom to their residential property. A licensed and insured company will perform the work. I endorse the Brownings' request and recommend the Charter Township of Chesterfield approve the requested variance. If you have any questions, please contact me through email or call me. Thank you for your attention. Audrey J. Clark.
And then also, we did have a letter dated May 9th, and I believe everyone read it, was in their packet, but we did have several other neighbors that think voice in favor of it. If you could, just a snapshot.
Yeah, this is dated May 9th. I have asked the neighbors below if they would have any problems with construction of a sunroom at our home at 25692 Princess Drive in Chesterfield. They give their consent to our improvement of our home. Our neighbors to the west, Paul and Don Mazzetti, to the south, Richard and Michelle Wojciech, and to the east of Audrey Clark. I see that it is signed by all petitioners.
And I have the original if you need that.
Yeah,
That's-
we're good, thank you. The only thing the chair has, I'm probably gonna disagree with my board members here. I don't see a problem with this. The reason being is, I will state my reason, is every time I go out and take a look at a project, I look at it from the street, you know? And what's behind the house or in their backyard is not really majorly concerned, okay? With the addition, if they put on the side, it's gonna change the demeanor of the neighborhood. At least that's my opinion on it. I had a neighbor, I lived in a subdivision, several years ago, who put a sunroom on the back of his house, and he lives right next door to me. He came before ZBA. I don't believe I excused myself because I had no material gain on it, but I didn't have a problem with it. You know, something he wanted to construct in his backyard. There's still plenty of property behind the house. The deck is being removed, correct?
Yeah, it's a 25-year-old deck. We
Yes.
never,
Yes.
we're going to remove that.
And we have 3 or 4 neighbors that had attested that they don't have issues, and they're the ones that have to look at it every day. So that's where I kind of bench my comments on. I do understand our ordinances, but that's the reason we do have ZBA. Things change, people want to remodel, people want to change. I personally don't have any problems with it. Anything else you wish to add, sir?
In agreement with that, that would leave 24 feet of yard left between that and the fence. The neighbor right behind us has trees. I can barely see into his yard. The other 2, they've said that they're more than willing to accept that it would, they like the idea. The idea of this is for my wife, though. We had gone, I think in the letter that I had sent, that we had gone to Florida in February to see about getting property or staying there during the winter because it's rough on her. We got there 2 days driving, and we were there for 2 days, and she had to come home. So 2 more days driving, and she just couldn't take it. So that's when I decided, I thought, well, I'm gonna bring Florida to her. I'm gonna see about building a sunroom in the back. She'd like nothing more than she likes it when it rains. She likes to go out there and see the rain in that. And especially this year with the humidity, it's just not suited for her. She's got a zone of probably 70 to 80 degrees where she can spend some time out there. About 15 years ago, we put a sunsetter awning on because you couldn't sit on the deck when the sun was out. But those are not permanent solutions. If the wind kicks up, you have to pull it in. You can't allow it to be out when it rains. But it's a nice thing for part of the time. I think she's only been out maybe 3 or 4 times this year on the deck. You know, you've got the Canadian wildfires that are going on, so the air quality isn't good, which if she had a sealed in 3-season sunroom, I could even make it a 4-year by putting a heater out there. It would make her more comfortable, and I think her life would be a little easier. And I'd like to give that to her.
Thank you. Any comments or concerns from the building department? I'll get you in a minute. Yeah, thank you.
They did apply, and I had to deny them. It didn't meet the ordinance, and that's why they're here.
Okay. Have they been cooperative otherwise?
Sure.
Sure, good, thank you. Mrs. Bosworth, I'm sorry, go please.
It's okay, thank you. Thank you for being here and, you know, your story. I appreciate your story. And I also appreciate the fact that you get along with your neighbors. That was very heartening to hear letters from the neighbors, because that's where I live. We all get along too, and it's very appreciative of that.
2 of them actually were planning on coming here. Audrey said that she was planning on coming, and she said, well, I'll send a letter just in case.
Sure.
And one that's not on there is across the street. He was gonna come, but he works afternoons, so he
Sure.
wasn't able to make it.
Understood. I guess I'm not so much in favor of granting this, because it is possible to put it on your property. If it weren't possible at all to put it in, and I realize it's not what you want, but it is possible. So that for that reason, I kind of, you know, I am not in favor of making the changing it.
It's also not what the neighbors want either. And it just, to me, it just doesn't fit the style of the house.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Anything additional from my right?
I have something, Mr.
Please
Chair.
do.
I think, I'm in agreement with Mr. LaBelle that, you know, and Ms. Vosberg, that the property, you can use it for its intended purpose as it's zoned, and there are alternatives to that to what you're proposing. It might not be necessarily what you want it to be, but quite frankly, whatever the neighbors would like, and any potential unnecessary hardship, which we cannot consider any of these things. It has to be some attribute of the property itself within the district that would give us indication that a strict interpretation of the zoning ordinance would be unduly restrictive, and you couldn't use the property for what its intended purpose is. But you can. It's residential. It might not be as large a house as you would like, or the dimensions of the house as you would like, but it fills the lot, and it's in conformity with the zoning ordinance as it stands. So I would not be in support of the variance.
Thank you. Anything else? Anybody? Anything else you wish to add?
Pardon me?
Anything else you wish to add before we vote?
Well, I mean, if you look at the plot lines on the property, like I said, it's pie-shaped. You slap that in there, you're gonna have a walkway of 5 feet on the side to get around into the backyard. And that just, as opposed to putting it on the back of the house, it's clean that way. I understand that there's an encroachment on the setback, but, and I know you said you can't consider that, but every day I pull into the subdivision, and we didn't notice them until we heard about this setback, and I saw the one, I went like, that's not 35 feet. So I walked a couple blocks over there, and I could see it from the sidewalk, so I paced off, and there were 7 concrete blocks for the sidewalk, which are about 4 feet, and I said, that's 28 feet, he's at least 7 feet into the encroachment, encroaching on the setback. And then when you come in off of 21 Mile Road, there's a picture of it. This one looks like it's about 15 feet to the fence. And from what I understand, the spirit of this setback is so that you're not filling your whole backyard up and it looks like a mobile home park. Down the street, somebody built an addition, and it's got a deck, and then they've got a pool, and it takes up their whole yard. There is no grass between the back fence, the pool, and this other building. 4 houses down, I think Timo had looked, and there was another encroachment where they had built an addition to the house that is within the 35 feet. So we pull into our subdivision, we see these encroachments, and I just don't kind of understand why some people can have it and some can't.
Each petition stands as its own merit. We really can't use any type of what happened in the past as moving on our motion to approve. On that note, what's the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion
My God.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to, in petition number 2023-03, to deny the variance request based on lack of practical difficulty with the property.
I have a motion. Do I have support?
Support.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Nay. Nay. 2 nays. We have 4 positive votes, I believe. Motion does carry. Has been turned down. You can check with the building department what your next step would be on that area on the side, or legal counsel would be another option you would have. Sorry, folks. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I could please have you go around, we have more items we have to deal with. Thank you so much. Thank you. I wish we keep you in, but we can't. Thank you, folks. Thank you for coming out. Old business. Do we have any old business we want to go over? Any new business? Gary, any new exciting business? Or we got shut down with this? No, not right now, right?
Just saw you guys 2 weeks ago.
I know. There's so much excitement could take place. Yes, yes.
Rick
yes.
probably knows more than me. on
Rick just
anything new.
said Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, right.
Rick, do you have anything to answer? We heard about the Chick-fil-A. Anything else exciting?
Yeah, the Chick-fil-A, we, at our last meeting, we finally came to an agreement with a microbrewery on Jefferson,
Yes.
which is in the new MX area, MX1 zone, which we're really excited about. And there's many more things that are coming very soon.
All right. Well, stay tuned. That's great. Thank you.
The Chick-fil-A, is that how far in the process are they? Do they have enough
they haven't came in front of us yet, but from what I understand, they're going to be on 23 Mile Road, and they have, from what I understand also, and Gary can correct me if I'm wrong, they have signed a cross-access agreement with a movie theater, so, which will help with traffic somewhat. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Okay, stay tuned. We do have the meeting minutes from our last scheduled meeting. Any comments or corrections on the meeting minutes? Next thing would be need a motion to approve.
I do have one small thing about the minutes. I don't see where there actually says there was a motion. It says there were votes, but it doesn't actually say that there was a motion to do anything other than the votes.
Petition, motion. All these newfangled things. Yeah, did you want, I'll let you look at that real quick and then we'll move on. Okay? Anybody else wish to review before we move ahead? Okay, thank you. Okay, we did have a clarification. Looking for a motion to approve or deny?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from July the 12th, 2023.
As presented.
Support?
All in favor, say by saying aye. Aye. And you see, I remembered that time. Last time I forgot. But, you know, as you get old, you forget stuff. Now you can sign it. Okay, good, super, super. Comments from the floor, we have no floor to comment. Okay, I think we're ready for adjournment. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Support, all in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
You stand